Okay, a day in a life since COVID-19. On my way to work, guys. We made it to the city in no time. There's my beautiful building, my historical landmark. Coming into work, the museum is absolutely empty. There's a sadness because we're used to having our hallways and galleries filled with people and laughter and picture taking. We're in the Temple of Dindor and I can actually hear my echo. That reality is just, bam, it kind of slaps you in the face. Hi, everybody. I work with 4 different departments: horticulture, the mason shop, the paint shop, and custodial. They cover the 2.2 million square feet in here. I think that they have an amazing responsibility. People automatically think of essential and they only think of nurses and doctors.
We are just starting our rounds and our first task is to feed the koi. All right, that's the fun part of the day.
People don't realize that they rely on us. If you have staff in the building, you're gonna need custodial people too. It's just like playing a piano. Like you can take a person who can play the piano. No one ever thinks about the person who tweaks the piano. We're the ones who make sure that you have a place to come to make your beautiful music. When you realize you need a person, that opens up a greater sense of respect and compassion. Imagine how important that compassion would be when you are at your weakest point. So, November 10th, 2019, I got off the Long Island Railroad and I was walking towards the escalator and my foot clipped the top part of the step. I hit the steel and I heard my skull crunch. There was a moment of nothingness. Like if you just take a deep breath and hold it, I was in that space. I just started screaming like, somebody help me, someone help me, please help me. And I'm sorry, I'm okay, but I'm sorry. The healing process was the toughest, emotionally, psychologically. I could not be in crowds. I couldn't even go into galleries. I couldn't go in a great hall. I couldn't go anywhere. It was too much for me to process. The compassion that my staff gave me, they were just there for me. The lesson that I learned about myself was it's okay to need people. Coming to work every day and seeing the employees here, they're not just coming to work, they're actually showing up. I think people are getting a real sense that custodial is needed, but that awareness of essential and what it really means is bigger for them rather than us, because our job is still the same.
So I'm hitting record. I see it going. When I did my happiness project, I wanted to do something in my everyday life to see if I could make myself happier. But for my next big book project, I wanted to find a way to shake myself awake. I thought, I want to go to the Met every single day, and I want to see how does my experience at the Metropolitan Museum change over time. So I started 2020 going to the Met every single day that I was in New York City. And what I started to do was to massively slow myself down. I'm just going to look at every object. I'm going to read all the signs. When COVID-19 started skipping from continent to continent, I was paying attention like everyone else. The very day that I had decided that I wouldn't go back was when the Met announced that they were closing. I hadn't had sort of my farewell. I hadn't gone with the idea of like, goodbye, Met, until I see you on the other side. It's 7 o'clock. Can you hear the people clapping for the healthcare workers? COVID-19 has meant so many dramatic changes in everyone's lives. Now that we're doing social distancing, our experience of other people has changed. And a lot of people are having that hunger to be in a crowd. before the time of the pandemic. There was this special privilege for members. You get to go into the Met before anybody else did. And that always seemed really exciting to me to have it all to myself. But now I have to say, empty Met has no attraction for me. What I want is crowded Met. I would not have wanted the experience of the pandemic, but I feel like it has shaken me awake. And one of the things that it's awakened me to is how ordinary things are becoming extraordinary. If I could take a Van Gogh home and put it in my living room, I don't think it would seem like a masterpiece the way that it does if I go see it in the Met. And I'm with other people who made a special effort to come to this room to see this art object. We all have to experience something together in order for it to achieve its true significance.
I've been living in New York for 13 years, but I always feel I'm an outsider. I don't speak the language perfectly. For me, like drawing and painting is more like my language. Coming to Met, I feel really safe. Like, oh, I'm home. The lobby, the Met entrance, for me, it's kind of like entering a night market. You just see everyone like waiting to enter somewhere, like different space. I made a bunch of drawings related to the Met, and I made 2 books out of it, and they are both in the collection of Library of the Met. Since I visit Met so much, I didn't really necessarily looking at art. Mostly, I'm looking at visitors. It's very inspiring because of the setting itself. It's like a stage already. So people entering the space is like a theater. The very first drawing I did from that book is a fancy lady. Their makeup and how they dress up is so nice. Now because of the coronavirus, I look at my drawings like looking at old photos. Big group of people all hand together was super normal. But now looking back at this, I feel, germ everywhere. I grew up in Taiwan. Always some like natural disaster, like earthquake and typhoon. So I always have that kind of sense of crisis. In December, I came back to Taiwan and do my solo show. And then the pandemic arrived. So I temporarily stuck here. I feel really sad and I miss New York, especially the Met, as my routine. But at the same time, I also started feeling, oh, Met closed, so I don't need to go back. There's no rush. Once Met open, I can go back.